I get to vote on this one, don't I?
Are you still voting on this?
Unless
Skip's voting. So take a look at the minutes from last week if you would, and if there's a motion to adopt those, we'll consider that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are adopted. Item number 1, new business, authorizing the submission of an application to the Department of Homeland Security for a grant for targeted violence and terrorism prevention.
Hey, I'm not Lieutenant Parker, but good
You're not
afternoon, council.
Lieutenant Parker.
This is gonna be a no-match grant. We applied for it last year. We did not get it last year, so we are reapplying for it this year. It's up to $750,000. There's a couple different things. There's some training out of it and some software development. If we get it through CAPS is what we're hoping to do with the money if we receive it. But it is no match, so it's no cost to the city.
And what's a couple of examples of things, Chief, that this is legit to use towards?
We want to develop a database software through CAPS. That'll take up a large portion of this. And then, like I said, the education aspect and the training. Some of that we used in the schools as far as working with our SROs about sitting in the classes on what to look out for as far as troubled students, and then also in the community, people that we have our mental health unit that we respond to over and over again of different programs and that kind of stuff, and different tools we can use for that.
All right. Any other questions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Submission of the application for the grant is approved. Item number 2, authorizing to disperse from District 2 improvement funds. Counselor Howard.
I requested $1,500 to go to the Central High School track team. They had a track meet, I think, last Saturday, and I wasn't able to attend, but they have been doing great things, and they have an upcoming trip, and so I wanted to help them get to the shores for that meet.
Motion approved.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This time of year, Gulf Shores, that must be is that state championships or Florida relays?
Is it in Gulf Shores?
It's in that area down there, because my grandson will be running down there too. Yeah, it's a big meet.
Okay, cool.
Big meet.
Well, good luck to y'all. Item number 3, authorization to disperse from District 1 improvement funds. Councilor Wilson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I have been working with Deputy Chief Sanders in culminating a big fun day at Palmore Park. Dates are forthcoming. We are working diligently to begin to highlight some of the things that we have at Palmore Park, such as the skate rink. We're going to have face painting, those bouncy houses. We're looking forward to do. Yes, sir.
Are you gonna take part in that?
Well, hey.
Shoes on.
There are a lot of things that people could do, and we're trying to encourage people to get back out to the parks. I've had the opportunity to frequent that park and saw persons using their skateboards. I couldn't dare skate. I wouldn't dare skate as huge as I am. And so we're working together to make this a great time, and I'm requesting $2,000 to aid in this event. He will be working with the vendors as well to give the itemized budget of that.
You might want to wait a little bit for the road to get better.
Yeah.
Because half the road's closed.
Right.
I mean, I'm having to come in off Palmore.
Yeah.
It's okay on that end, but the other end of the road's awful.
Yes, it is awful.
So it ain't gonna happen for a few months.
No, it's a few months out.
Any other
Motion-
questions?
Motion approved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Disbursement is approved. Item number 4, authorization of authorized representation for Alabama Department of Environmental Management, State Revolving Fund Admin. Ms. Chief.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Council. So we are requesting authorization for the CFO, Ms. Stanbridge, to serve as the authorized representative for ADEM as it relates to our outstanding SRF loans. So this previously sat within our OCE department, and just given a recent vacancy, we feel it makes the most sense to transfer this over to accounting and finance.
Got any questions?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Approved. Item number 5. If you're still up there, Ms. Chief, General Fund Reserve for Future Improvement, budget revision number 7.
Yes, sir. So this revision corresponds with the Bryce Mine Road Northeast Infrastructure Project that you saw on projects earlier that Mr. Gurney presented. So we are proposing to close out the TPD renovations project and transfer a portion of that funding, so $125,956 to that storm drainage project, and the remainder $699 to contingency.
Chief, you left money on the table?
I was about to say, that's.
It's not like you.
I was not aware of the money left on the table, sir. You can guarantee that.
Is there something you'd like to do with it?
Yeah,
Let's move along.
We don't get much.
I was about to say, I don't think we've
It's not
ever had a
given the
decrease, chief. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion is approved. Next, we've got some representatives from Para here today, and we're gonna begin a discussion to look at, helping them put on what's the correct title of the big golf tournament
It's
for
the
the ladies?
2023 Tuscaloosa Toyota Classic.
Tuscaloosa Toyota Classic, and it is a ladies pro golf.
That's right.
Huh?
So the Toyota Classic is a professional women's golf tournament on the Epsom Tour.
Mike,
I'm sorry.
you like your.
Oh, sure.
And by the way, Mike Cravey is the interim executive director of Para. Mike, we appreciate you stepping into that role. He's also a brand-new father, is that correct?
That's right.
Well, congratulations.
As of
Thank
2
you.
or 3 days ago.
Wow.
I believe Dr. Ferguson over here,
Fairburn.
Fairburn, I'm sorry, is our appointee to the Para board.
That's
So
right.
we appreciate y'all coming in today.
So is this loud enough? Can y'all hear me good?
Sure.
Okay. So the Tuscaloosa Toyota Classic is a professional women's golf tournament on the Epsom Tour, which is the qualifying circuit for the LPGA Tour. And so the LPGA Tour is the largest and most successful women's golf tour in the world. So last fall we hosted the inaugural event at Old Colony Golf Complex. It was tremendously successful. We saw 108 of the best golfers in the world come out to Old Colony. We also had just under 150 volunteers, and we also had volunteers from Para and Visit Tuscaloosa participate. Over the 3-day tournament, we had several hundred spectators, and then we also had 2 Pro-Am days that were completely sold out. So we had about 60 Pro-Am teams participate, and they were represented from Georgia, Florida, and all throughout Alabama. And then on top of that, we had data from the Epsom Tour media team that said that we've generated $1.6 million in advertising value for the event. So what that means is if you were to take all the social media interactions, all the newspaper articles, and the other advertising metrics, we received about $1.6 million in advertising for Old Colony, Para, and the city of Tuscaloosa. So our goal for this event is to not only become the premier destination on the Epsom Tour, but we want this event to be something that the city of Tuscaloosa and our whole community rallies behind every year. It's not often that you have a professional golf tournament in your backyard, especially in a place like Tuscaloosa. So this tournament shows kids in our community that, hey, it's not that out of reach to be a professional golfer. In fact, you can be one right here at Old Colony. And then on top of that, this event is elevating Old Colony's reputation as a championship level course. So we're building our resume so we can hold even bigger events. We've already had some interest expressed to us from AJGA, which is the Alabama Junior Golf Association, and we're hoping to build on top of that momentum to get even bigger events in the future.
How many days is the event, Mike?
The event itself is 3 days, so it's 54 holes, but then we also have 2 Pro-Am days beforehand, and then there's a Monday practice round.
Okay.
So,
It's all week long.
yes, that's right. And then, so for the budget this year, we're estimating a budget of around $400,000, which is a little bit less than last year. We've cut some costs, but last year we raised around $500,000 in both cash contributions, but also non-cash trade value for food and that sort of thing. But last year, with the help of Visit Tuscaloosa, we did receive several government tourism grants, and some of those we don't expect to receive this year. And so that's where we are coming in and asking you for some support, because with an event like this, when you get it started, you have to grow it, and it takes money to grow an event, because just like this is a tournament, it's also kind of a promotional event where you have to provide tour level experience for the fans, the fans, the sponsors, and the players. So you sell to sell again.
Right.
And so that's where we're asking for help to get this event to continue its upward trajectory. And at the end of the day, all proceeds or all profits that are generated from this event will be reinvested into Old Colony for future improvements to the course. And we were also making this request for the County Commission and the City of Northport. So that's kind of my quick sales pitch.
Yeah, okay, it was not bad for a quick sales. Does the event, in what form does the event generate revenues?
So
I mean, for, as an event, not ancillary revenues like hotel lodging, but do you pay to watch it or be in it? How does that?
So one of the special things about the event is it's free of charge. So everyone in the community is welcome to come and watch. We do have concession sales, so that'll be generating revenue. But the way that we generate revenue is to bring in as many sponsorships and commitments that we can, and then try to make profit on the actual event.
Yeah.
So.
I think you said that y'all raised roughly 500,000 last year, and I'm assuming that's a combination of sponsorships, outright philanthropic contributions, and funding from municipal or tourism. So on the philanthropic side, on the private
Yeah.
money raising piece, how are y'all set up to begin doing that?
So we are forming last year we had an entire committee for fundraising.
I think Ronnie
Ronnie
Robertson or Ross and Lou Whitfield came in and spoke with us last year, right?
That's right.
Brian Harden did too.
Brian
I
Harden.
can't remember who else.
Yeah, so Ronnie and Lou are stepping down this year, and so we're still forming that fundraising committee, but we have Brian Harden and we have the Old Colony Advisory Committee is spearheading that effort to form that committee. Okay. And so as far as the private sponsorships, last year we had about $275,000 in cash, and then we also had another $45,000 in trades, and then we received $162,000 from government grants.
Okay. And the selling of the sponsorships, that's part of that, the committee that you described does that?
That's right. They create a menu for the pricing of various sponsorship packages,
Okay.
and then they'll sell them to corporate and
And when's the event, Mike?
It's the September 29th through October 1st.
Okay. So we're about 5.5 months out.
That's right.
Gentlemen, any questions you'd like to ask?
I think it was a success, Mr. Chairman, last year.
Ms. Sheep, didn't we put into this last year?
Yes, sir, so
We did.
we had 50,000, is that right, Kelsey? 50,000 we paid out and did these sponsorships last year through the tourism fund.
In bid fee sponsorships, is that what you said?
Yes, sir. And we have about 50,000 this year that we paid out.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So there's already,
$50,000 has already been paid
all right,
out.
so 50's already in,
Through the TDF.
okay.
Yes, sir.
So will we be, so the amount requested versus the amount that we've already given, is that gonna equal up to the 100? Or are you asking for an additional 100 on top of the 50 that we already have?
We're asking for up to an additional 100, but any support that you are willing to provide will happily accept.
Okay. Kelsey, I can't see you back there. Is there anything?
I purposely did that.
Good job. Do you want to give us any kind of recap of last year's event from tourism and, not that you are tourism and sports anymore, your visit Tuscaloosa, but
No, I mean, I think Mike did a good job of highlighting how successful the event was for us last year. I think we were all really pleasantly surprised at the end of the tournament at how well it went, how smooth it was. The athletes that came and participated had a wonderful experience. We heard overwhelmingly positive feedback from them, so that was fantastic. From a tourism standpoint, you know, we look at economic impact. So were they staying in our hotels? Were they eating in our restaurants? Were they shopping in our community? This particular, what we've learned is that it's actually not uncommon for some of the athletes to stay with host families. So maybe that was kind of a lesson learned from this experience, is just that not as many of the athletes themselves are staying in the hotels. We do feed them throughout the week too, but I think where we have opportunity to grow is maybe on the spectator side of this. What I've learned or picked up on is just that's pretty common for the Epsom Tour and for those women that are going from tournament to tournament. To be able to afford that, they've got to stay with
This
us.
doesn't pay much at all.
It does. I mean,
You
it
don't make
doesn't.
much.
We heard stories of women living out of their cars while they're on tour. So,
Oh,
and
wow.
I actually think we had one or two girls maybe even staying in their cars. So,
So this is the level, I mean, it's not LPGA.
Right below
it's,
the
it's
ball.
the
Minor
feeder
leagues.
into it. Yeah. So the girl that won our tournament, she got an opportunity to go play into the LPGA.
Okay, I got you.
So, I mean, yeah, from when we look at this event from our office, we knew that a priority was to spotlight Old Colony as a great facility to host golf tournaments. And that really helped us accomplish that. So that's how, to us, that is how we saw it as a successful event. And again, it did have an economic impact, but we had to be, we learned that it wasn't, like I said, they weren't staying in our hotels and that kind of stuff quite like we expected them to.
Well, if somebody's watching and wanted to host one of these ladies, could they call Visit Tuscaloosa or?
We had someone on our committee last year that kind of coordinated, if anyone put in a request for a host family, Lou Whitfield really kind of helped coordinate that for us and worked with the Old Colony team, so yeah. I think one thing Stan and I have talked about is this next year, what we'll do is maybe when they come and check in, we will ask those questions specifically. Hey, are you staying at a hotel? If so, which one? And or if you are staying with a host family, just so we have more accurate data on that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if it was okay with you that I know that we've had little discussions back and forth about the money that we put aside for the Dixie Youth, the Baseball World Series that didn't get spent, right? And I know part of that has to be for capital, and we had that conversation a little bit out in the hall, Mike, a little bit. I would like to ask that we be brought some funding places that we might could pick up this money to do this, to sponsor this, because I do think it's important. I think it's a big thing for our community. It highlights what's happening here, and I think it can lead to a lot of other different things. But I think the question of where that funding could come from, Mr. Chairman, is part of the issue too. But I'd ask maybe if that's okay with you.
Yeah, how about we do this?
Options back.
Next week is the 18th. We're getting the capital
Yes, sir.
budget press, so that's a non-starter. Let's put this back on for 2 weeks from now. And Ms. Schaaf, what we would like is, the prioritized list of where the funding sources could be from it. Mike, if the three of us or any of the other council members have any questions in the meantime, we will submit those to y'all in writing so you can get back to them. Last question, I'm curious, what are the big costs in putting on a golf tournament?
Well, first and foremost, the biggest is the purse, the tournament purse.
The purse?
Yes, so
How
the
much
prize
is
money.
that?
This year it's $175,000. So
Total
right off the
purse or
bat?
for the winner?
the total purse.
Okay.
So the winner will bring home about $30,000.
Okay. The biggest, the purse, what are the other
The
big
biggest,
ones?
and then the second biggest, you have some tournament infrastructure. So we've got tents, like hospitality tents, and then we have a grandstand at the 18th green for the sponsors to view the players come in and finish. Those are probably the second biggest. And then in terms of the pro-ams, there's some gifts and thank yous for signing up for the pro-am. And when you have 60 pro-am teams, that collectively is probably the third biggest. And then other than that, you just have hospitality, so food, and then we'll do there's an event, Meet the Players Party, and so the players will come out and sponsors will pay to host this party and they can meet the players. And then finally you have polos and hats for all the volunteers and the staff.
Is marketing is marketing a significant cost?
Last year it was not.
Do we do that, or does Epson do it, or how does that work?
Both, really. So Epson does a lot of it. We did not do a ton of marketing last year, and but I do know, I'll defer to you because I think you guys did some marketing too. But
It's something if we're gonna continue this event, we need to step up on it. That's how we're gonna get that spectatorship up, is if we do a little bit more promotion around the event.
What about physical, is there anything that has to be done to the course?
for this year, no. Last
We
year,
did last year.
yeah, last year we had to get the course Wi-Fi compatible for all the different tour trailers. So we spent.
I was thinking about grass and dirt, Wi-Fi compatible.
Yeah, for streaming and live uploads to the internet, and then last year we did do some resodding in some of the rough. We had some bare spots, so those were all things that we did last year that we don't expect to have to do this year.
Okay.
So.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Any other questions? All right, good presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, gentlemen, is there any other business to be brought up before the Finance Committee before we adjourn?
No, sir. Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.